Crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter. Today I'm coming along with the Elegant Armoire gift box die set. Tonic Studios has released this die today. It'll be available to you, and of course I'll have links in the description bar below. But first I wanted to let you know you'll get a nice cover for yours, and it's also going to come with full instructions, and it won't look like this, but let me show you what you can make. It is absolutely adorable. Of course, I've gone with a bit of a shabby chic theme, but in this tutorial that I'm sharing with you today, I'm going to share how you can create this armoire here. So this portion up on the top has the little double doors. It has a little lock. You can create a little key, and then the little drawers that go underneath, which will open quite nicely. And of course you can fit little goodies in there. You can decorate it as you like. Little flowers are from Bouquets and Buttermilk die set, so if you have that, you can definitely incorporate it with this set of dies. It's of course fun to mix and match the items you might have in your stash, so be sure to take advantage of that. However, this comes with a load of detail that you can add. Look at how gorgeous that is. What I've done is that I've used Nuvo products, so I did use glitter drops. I used little diamond dots. I used other Nuvo drops to give this a bit of color and shine, and of course just little items there. However, all of the little flowers were just die cut from paper, and I did take advantage of Nuvo embellishment mousse to give that special shine to some of the papers. And this other version here all I did was adjust what I had done here, which was to create two little drawers and then the bottom, and what I did was I repeated that one more time. So you see the set of two. I added another one right next to it and adhered those two together. Now I did take an extra piece of paper and add it to the very top, and on the back I also added papers just to cover the background there. And of course I could keep going and add a bit more back here, but I just wanted to pay attention to the front of this. This mirror card you can get from Tonic Studios. If you see the shine there, it's going to look so pretty. And the frame here of course is extra, but I did want to show how you can use items that you may have in your stash just to create something absolutely fabulous. And in here of course you can add maybe little jewelry items. If you see there, you can add maybe some of your rings or favorite earrings, that sort of thing, and this would look so pretty on a nightstand perhaps. What's included here of course are a total of 50 dies that are going to allow you to create the little drawers, create the armoire, all of those elegant little pieces and delicate items, but you can definitely personalize it. And lastly, I'm going to show you a card that I created with this. All that I did here was that I took a total of, I think, 3 dies, or maybe 4 if you count the shadows. But this piece here that I made to look like a little bookmark is the same piece that you can use for the side of the armoire. Then the pieces that I use for pages here that I cut out of vellum, and I also cut out of cardstock and I stamped onto them. I added Nuvo mousse, as you can tell there. Look at the shine, it's so pretty. And I just personalized it, made it my own, and used it in a different way, which is something that I love to share in my videos. On the center I used a piece of ribbon. This is from actually the last craft kit that was released. And here on the top I used the same piece that you can use to decorate the top of your armoire or your drawers. I just use it up here. It reminded me of a podium where you would set perhaps a Bible or a book. So I thought that would be really pretty to create something like this. And this is just the one rectangular die that you will use to create this piece here, which is the back of your armoire. And I will have a separate tutorial for the card and today's will be for this one here. I hope that you do enjoy the content. I think this die set is not only versatile, but absolutely delicate and beautiful. I'm so grateful to Tonic for sending me these items to show you some samples of how you may use them as well. I hope that it does serve as inspiration to you, that you can be blessed, and I thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for the tutorial. Okay friends, so let's get into this. This die set, as I mentioned before, does have 50 pieces. To begin the armoire, however, all you need are the pieces that I'm going to share with you here, and this is the very top portion of the one that I showed you. So you're going to take the largest piece of these dies that you see on your screen. You're going to cut that 3 times. However, the third time you only need a portion of that, so you can remove both the side and the bottom. And here you're seeing me use a guillotine cutter to do so, and this is just to make sure that it's nice and precise, but it does emboss into your paper so you can follow those lines. Then you're going to see these other 2 rectangular dies. You can layer them on one of the pieces that you had cut out. Make sure you use low-tech adhesive and only leave that smallest piece, and run that through your die cutter, and that's what I've done. And as you can see here, it's going to cut into your paper and allow you to have the little doors for your armoire. Now let me show you another way that you can use this die set. I've used that very same die that I had just removed from my paper, but I layered inside of it the other 2 pieces, removed the ones that I didn't want, and here you see me having cut out of that background the decorative portion alone. Now the reason I did that was to make sure that it would be nice and centered, and then I can use my bone folder to reinforce the folds. And what you may have noticed is that the little doors I actually folded toward the inside of the armoire, not the outside. I did that on purpose so that once I assemble this, the little doors don't automatically start folding open. So that's just a little tip that you can use there. So reinforce all of the fold lines that your dies are going to emboss into your paper. And of course, this is for the 3 pieces of paper that I had mentioned before. The third doesn't need any folding, but once you get all of that done, you can now decorate the sides. I'm using some lavender papers and also some mirror card, all from Tonic Studios. I will be listing these in the description box below, but what you can see here is that the background now is going to match really nicely with those decorative pieces. And on the inside of the armoire, or the back of this piece of paper, I am now adhering another piece of card that is in that sugar lilac color. Now the other option there would have been to place vellum if you wanted to, for a nice soft look. This piece here is the back of the armoire, and for those sides what I've done is that I am using the decorative pieces that I had pointed out earlier. I just took my mirrored card and used the dies to cut into it. It's very intricate and pretty, and some of the pieces you see there on that little dish that I have on the side, that's what I use to collect all of my dies as I'm crafting. And all I need to do now is to layer these right on top of what I had already adhered to the background, and then I can strategically place back some of the pieces if I want to, or this is of course another opportunity for you to use different Nuvo products such as your drops, embellishment mousse, anything that you like. And that's just a really pretty way to decorate these pieces. Now these 2 will adhere side to side. It has that nice long tab. You're going to match the one to the other. Make sure that you adhere it nice and straight, and burnish any pieces that you may be gluing together. Even if you don't see it in my videos, I do burnish all of my folds, especially after adding adhesive. I just don't include it in the video so that they're not too long. Now you set those 2 pieces aside and grab this rectangular die, cut out 6 pieces of cardstock. I'm using decorative card from Tonic Studios that's double-sided. So all you have to do is fold the little side tabs. However, this is going to glue to the background. And once you have these nicely folded, they're going to create little pairs. So all you have to do is glue those to the background piece of your armoire. As you see here, make sure that you first adhere that rectangular portion to what will be the background, and then the portion that has the curved edge is actually going to be the little shelf. But you can start from the very bottom. It's going to make it a lot easier to line these up, and then continue adding its matching pair right on top. And this is the result. So you'll repeat this. However, for the second and third little shelf, you're going to overlap the papers. It's going to create a nice sturdy piece, and this is going to be the little portion that will fit inside of the little armoire. Now this die set comes with some really pretty decorative options. You can layer other pieces of paper onto those little shelves, if you will, and you can also decorate the top portion. Here I was looking at some different options, but I went with the cream card and the mirror card, and as you can see, that matches exactly that pretty curved edge. Now with this rectangular piece, you can cut the portion that's going to actually be the top of the armoire. So go ahead and fold all of the lines and also the little tabs, which you're going to use to adhere this onto the uppermost portion. Now I started on the side just because that little tab there was the largest, and now I'm walking my way through the curve here. That's how I describe it, because what you want to do is apply adhesive on the little semicircular tabs, and then one by one place them onto the arch that is the top of your armoire, both the front and the back. So take your time to adhere that because it is a curve. And once that's nice and dry, go ahead and take this piece that's going to be your insert. Make sure the top curve matches the top of your armoire. You place it inside and then open the little doors and make use of that opening to place some pressure onto the side tabs, because that's where you would have added your adhesive to make sure that that piece does adhere to the inside of the armoire. Those are going to be your anchoring pieces. Once those are dry, you can close this, and as you see here, I'm placing adhesive on that side tab, and then all of the little tabs on the top as well as the back. I generously added some glue there, and then I'm doing the same thing, which is to hold that curve onto the paper. Once that was dry, then I was able to close the bottom. So just add your adhesive to the side tabs here as well. And I do recommend that you actually close it by putting the back of the armoire on first, then the front. I kind of did it a little backwards here, but I do recommend it the other way. So learn from me. Sometimes I do things and I look back at it and I go, oh, it would have looked prettier if I did it the other way. But moving along, these little tabs here also cut out using another die, and it has this little circular hole there, and that's going to allow you to close your armoire. So you only need 2 of those, and the die will cut out 2. Because I use mirror card, I did use hot glue to add these, and it just adds that nice little closure. The little lock that you can make for this does require a little bit of cutting here. So you need 4 little pieces for that bottom, and you just stack those together. I did just use 80-pound cardstock, and it did turn out pretty nice and sturdy. But once those are glued together, move on to this next piece. For this one, you need 6, and that's going to layer one on top of the other, as you see me placing them here. And you just continue stacking them. Make sure you allow these to dry, and once all of those are glued together, those are actually going to go on the back of that little rectangle that you had cut. Just place it right on top and make sure the edges meet, And then while that's drying, you can glue together this other portion that creates the little lock. And I did add mirror card on top, so of course you can decorate this and make it super pretty. And that's what I've done here. And the die set does include several pieces to decorate it, but here's the mechanism. And as you can see, that just slips right to the back. And then on the front, you can add the little dies that will allow you to create a really cute lock. Now, I went with one that has a sentiment, but your die set is going to include a few others that will, one of them looks exactly like a lock and the other one has a little heart. So super cute. It fits right in there. And I did want to decorate the top of the armoire, so there is an option for that. And of course, you can add flowers and anything else you like. To create our base drawer unit, you're going to be cutting out 2 rectangles that look like this. You'll be using this die here. And as you can see, it has one tab at the bottom, fold in the center, and then there is a matching die that's going to allow you to cut out the aperture that's going to allow you to have a placement for your drawer. You're also going to need 2 squares, and these cut out with tabs all the way around. So you can set those aside. Here are our pieces, and here's the one that I use that rectangle with to cut out the aperture. And now I'm going to match this tab to this rectangle and glue those together. It's going to create a longer piece. Match up those edges right along the fold line. Once that's nicely secured, you're going to have a longer piece that looks like this. And now you're going to adhere the squares to the 2 sides. The way that you'll do this is that you're going to adhere the squares to this outermost portion here. I have a piece that looks like this, and you can now start matching these edges to the tabs. If you've reached this far, press pause. If you have your box assembled on the sides with the little lid still open, I hope you do. I forgot to mention this portion here, and my apologies, but you're going to be cutting 2 pieces that look like this. And those are going to glue end to end, and you're going to fold all of the side tabs away from yourself. This is actually going to fit inside of that other portion, so you don't want to close this off. And of course, I got a little ahead of myself, but it'll still work. But these 2 pieces join one another, tab to tab here, and it's going to create one long piece. You can go ahead and join those 2. The opposite tab is going to be the same. It's going to join that matching paper. Just press those 2 papers together. Burnish those nicely. So it's okay to get the paper used to folding both ways. No problems with that. And I am using Craft Perfect card, so this is nice and sturdy. Okay, but you're going to want to fold those tabs open just like so. Okay, now you can open this portion, and on those little tabs you're going to apply glue. And this is going to actually fit right inside of here, and that's why we shouldn't have closed it yet. But that's okay, it's still going to work. It's just a little easier if you don't get this far ahead. But if you see here, it's actually going to not be a problem whatsoever, because those little side tabs that you were just about to close are going to match up with the ones that you're placing inside. So you can just tuck those right underneath if you want. Place a little glue in here and then tuck those right back. You can use your bone folder to kind of help you line this up also. But on this lid, you're going to place glue to match up these little tabs here. And of course you'll be closing that. But you can just kind of fold that right over onto that little box that's on the inside and then press it in place, making sure that your little corners meet nicely before you close this. I'm going to add a little more glue here because I know that I'm going to close this off. So no harm, no foul. I just got a little ahead of myself, that's all. But I'm going to be able to press that paper right into place, and you're going to get the little drawer here, or not the drawer, but the base where you'll be inserting your drawer. So just make sure you apply some light pressure so that this is all nice and even on all 4 edges, and you should be in business. So that's what it's going to look like. Now you make as many of these as you like because it's going to depend on the type of project result you want. But I'm going to set that aside, and you will use this die here to cut it. So cut that out twice per drawer. The folds. And just be patient as you burnish all of the folds. This is going to help in the assembly, of course. And these can overlap on the largest rectangle. That's where you're going to want to place your glue. And they should meet corner to corner. You can go all the way around and match the sides. You now have something that looks like this, and these are actually going to be for support, these little sides. So you can actually apply some glue on all 4 sides and then fold those pieces into your drawer. It's going to create a nice sturdy little drawer. Once your little drawer is assembled, you now have the option to decorate the inside, and I think you should. It's going to look really nice. You can cut out 2 smaller rectangles, 2 of the longer ones, and then the piece for the base of the inside. So you can just apply glue here, adhere these one to the bottom. Make sure you center that really nicely. And of course you could do this when the papers were still flat, but this is going to be for the inside. And there's another little piece there that you can use actually if you want to cut this paper out of mirror card, and it'll actually emboss right into the paper with a little message. So if you want to leave a little secret message to the recipient of this gift box, you can actually do that, which I think is so adorable. Okay, now the inside of your little drawer is nicely decorated, and of course this is meant to fit right inside of the little base that we created. So now all you have to do is feed that in. However, you want to be able to get this back out of there. So for that, you have the option of cutting this piece here that looks like a ticket, which of course you could use separately for any one of your little journaling or ticket-like creations. but you can place that on top. From there on out, it'll be decorative. So what I've done is I've cut out another layer that you can cut using a decorative die included in your set. Now you have options of having 2 pull drawers here or 1. I opted for 1. And in your die set, you're also going to have a couple of options here for the little opening. So you have this die here, and you have one that has a circular center that looks like this. So I'm opting for this one, and that's going to go right in the center. Little slits there that are here on this paper on both sides. The die will cut right into it. I'm going to take my little piece that's going to create my handle, and I'm actually going to fold this gently on both sides to help it have a curve. And that's going to actually feed right in here because there's a slit here and then a slit on the opposite side. I can actually push into that slightly with my little tool here just to get me started, and then just slip this paper right in here. And then on the back you can apply your glue. Make sure that's nice and adhered. I'm just going to slide that right in there. And mirror card is a little bit thicker, so you may need to help it along a little bit. Okay. Now once you've placed that in there, you can secure it to that base piece that's going to align with your drawer. Now what I want to do is place this one on here first, and the way that I'm going to go about it is I'm going to only place glue on my drawer portion. That's going to keep me from getting it on the edges, and then I'm going to center what's actually going to be the top of the drawer adhesive to the back of my decorative portion and place it right on top. And of course you need to fold those little tabs out. Okay. But you're going to apply some pressure, and that should be a small paintbrush. Just to pull on that a tiny bit is going to help you get that nice and rounded, just the way it ought to look. Because you've already anchored it, just be sure not to pull on it because it's going to pull back out of your paper and you don't want that. But now that's secured, and you have a little handle to pull out your little drawer that you created, and it's absolutely adorable. Now you do have pieces to decorate the sides. Side of the drawer. Make sure you just center those as well. I'm also going to add back the little crosses that fell out. A little adhesive right in the center there, and then place back the little paper that had fallen out. Do that on both sides. Very gentle. Now I'm going to repeat this again, and we'll continue our assembly. Another portion of your little armoire is going to be the base, and this is going to create a really cute little decorative portion that's going to give a foundation to everything. Now of course it has little layering pieces. I've cut mine again out of the mirror card, and they match up with the design here, which is really nice. Now I've gone ahead and burnished the folds already, but for this size you only need 2. However, if you have an intention to make this even larger, then you can certainly add one piece to the next and create it as wide as you need, depending on how many little dresser drawers you're creating, or how wide your project will be. For this one, you'll only need 2. One, so you do want to fold that one and burnish it. You'll be doing that for both sides. And this will join one end here. I have to flatten it back out again. I'm using 300 GSM card, and that's why I have to be very mindful of the folds. You have one long piece that looks like this, but this of course will fold over onto itself, and then that's going to help you join the other side. And place adhesive on your last tab here. Just fold it over, and it's going to join right perfectly where it needs to here. Just hold on to that until it dries. Now fold the tabs down, and this is where you'll be placing your little dresser, and it'll match each corner. So you can apply your adhesive to these 4 tabs. I'm gonna spread it out a little bit here. And I'm going to match my corners to the little dresser drawer here. That's why I didn't join the 2 drawer sets yet, because I wanted to make sure that I could place this very easily on my tabletop and apply pressure from the bottom. Making sure that all the edges meet nicely there. These 2 pieces next. Being generous with that adhesive because I want to make sure that I get a really nice tack there. And I don't want to place pressure on the little legs, so I'm going to flip it over again, and I'm going to leave the little legs alone and just apply pressure from this piece to this one because it's nice and sturdy now. And that way I don't create any creases in my paper. And there are more decorative elements to this that you can keep adding. Of course, I'll be back once this is nicely decorated, but this can now go right on top. And you want to be patient and hold it together, of course. I'm going to point out another feature, which is the little key that you can cut out. And this is an adorable little key that you can use with your project. There are other little pieces here. There's a keyhole that you can add to the little lock here. So if you want it to look exactly like an actual lock, you can do that. And there's also one with a little heart. And then I've used the one that reads locked with love. So that's what the little sentiment is on mine. I thought it was so pretty. But there's also another sentiment here, packed with love. So of course you could add that as a little tag, or even on one of the little drawers if you wanted to. There are other sentiments here. This little tab reads, "You are special to me." And then over here it says, "A gift for you." Then there's the one that I mentioned that you can add for the drawer pull, or up here it says packed. There's this one here also that embosses, and it says, "I saw this and thought of you," and I think that's absolutely adorable. And that can definitely be added inside if you want to. There are other decorative elements that you can add to your armoire once it's adhered together. Of course, you can keep it with the little lock. There's the little key, which I'll be adding, and all I did was take a ribbon, and it's actually quite frayed because I cut it in half lengthwise, and that was a 3mm ribbon. But there's the little key. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And then there's this piece here, which is also decorative, and you can layer together. I think that's quite pretty, and I'm going to be adding mine here to the front. think it gives it a nice finished look. And layer those two pieces together here. And once those are tacked together nicely, of course they can go right here on the front, which I think is really nice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. And that gives it a nice finished look. So what I'm going to do is try to match that little widow's peak, if you will, to the very center of the door where it opens there. And now that my piece is nicely put together, I can continue on decorating this, which I will off camera, but you can definitely add the layer on the back. And if you're going to give it away as a gift, you could absolutely write a little note first and then adhere it to the back. Then there are other layering pieces that you can use. The little key that comes inside of this little piece here, and this has stippling all around the edges. So it's a tiny little key, and that's purely decorative. Then there's the one that I use to add to the armoire. Then these little pieces can be added to the locket, the same with the little key that I just shared with you. This one has a little heart in the center, and the one that I use says locked with love. Then there's the one that actually looks like the front of a lock, and I think that's so adorable. It's got the little keyhole there. And then the sentiments read, this one says, "You are special to me." This one says, "A gift for you." This one says, "I saw this and thought of you," and that will emboss into your paper. So you can use that in conjunction with other little labels that you can add either inside of the little armoire as a layering piece, or you can add them to the top, however you like. Then there's this sentiment over here that will match the tag shape, and that one is right here. So you can use this separately to create a sentiment, and I think this is really pretty. It says picked with love, and of course you can use that to create a card, which I think I'll be doing to share with you as well. But I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. Feel free to leave me a comment, a thumbs up, and if you're new here, subscribe and click the notification bell for future videos. The pictures will share what the finished piece will actually look like. But as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed, and I thank you so much for watching.